chemin de croix. The king's path has already been chosen. Drink responsibly.
And so we're back for another episode, Chop Talk with Harie. We live at House of Fresh ATL, and I'm here with my brother from another mother, Mr. Ronnie Mabra Jr. How you doing, brother?
Good, Harie. Great to see you. Great to be with you.
I appreciate you taking out the time. I know you're a very busy man, so I appreciate your time. We're going to drop some jewels on these young men and women this evening. I met you back when you were in law school at UGA. I met you through Reggie Lewis, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. That's right.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
How was that period of time for you, going to law school at that point? You didn't know where you were going to be at yet. You know you had end game goals, but how was that process at UGA?
Oh, I love UGA. Being up in Athens, coming from Georgia Tech, being in the big city in Atlanta, where you were just a regular person, even though you were in college. And,
Correct.
And a student, didn't have any money, nobody catered to you, and then you go to a college town, and you feel sort of welcomed, and
Definitely.
you have a good atmosphere, and the prices are lower, and
Definitely.
you see a lot of students. You walk around Atlanta, it's a businessman, it's a doctor, it's a lawyer, it's all different people. Everybody not a student, but most of the people in Athens are students. And so
that is true.
Yeah, had a wonderful time in Athens. It's a great place to be, good people.
Definitely.
Yeah, you know a lot of people there.
Yeah, born and raised there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Definitely born at Georgia Tech. But for the people that don't know, Ronnie, where were you born and raised originally? Where are you from originally?
I was born right on Peachtree Street at Piedmont Hospital.
Very strong.
Yes.
Georgia native.
That's right. And we lived over a lot of people. I claim Fayette County, but I also claim DeKalb County.
Correct.
Because we moved off of Wesley Chapel when I was in the second grade down to Fayette County. And the reason I was born at Piedmont Hospital, a lot of my teammates at Georgia Tech were Grady babies. I said, we family.
Definitely.
Yeah, we family. But the reason I was at Piedmont, my father played for the Atlanta Falcons, and health insurance and the doctors was through Piedmont. They had the contract with the Falcons. And so we went where the benefits were, and they were at Piedmont Hospital.
That's very strong, and I didn't know that part about that history. So from transitioning from UGA, what was the transition in terms of your academic curriculum that brought you to Georgia Tech? I know it was sports oriented, but you also have a very strong academic background.
Yeah,
so how was that what made you choose Georgia Tech after you finished at UGA? What made you make that transition to Georgia Tech?
Well, Georgia Tech is close to home. I grew up down in Fayette County.
Of course.
And was a decent football player. Had an opportunity to go to Georgia Tech and play football. But my mother was an APS school teacher.
Okay.
And so in the household, I had my dad who retired from the Falcons. I had my mother who's an APS school teacher. And, they get in an argument or there's conflict, mama gonna always win. Yeah, so
believe it.
Academics ruled the day in the household.
Correct.
And athletics came in second. So, hey, you're gonna get this work done. You're gonna bring home these A's.
Correct.
Don't be telling me you gonna be happy with a B or C.
Correct.
And we always talk about, I don't know if people remember that Cosby episode when Theo brought home a C and Bill Cosby, was listening to a sob story saying, I worked my butt off. I tried my best.
Correct.
And he gave, and the crowd was clapping after he gave his little speech. And then Bill Cosby said, boy, that still ain't good enough. He's like, we ain't tolerating. He went back off. Yeah, but that's how it was in my household. My mother required excellent at all times. You're going to work hard. If you're making a C or you making a D or something bad, then you need to stay your butt inside the house and do more homework.
Correct.
Yeah.
Take more shots in the gym, but the shots of academics.
That's
and
right.
excellence.
That's right.
So that's a blessing to have that type parental structure.
That's
that
right.
keeps you on point. Because when we cross that barrier at some points in life, we kind of try and take things on by ourselves without reaching back.
That's right.
To the tutelage and the structure that hopefully most of us had growing up. So that's a blessing in itself. So let me switch gears on you. Mabra Law Firm, That was founded in 2007. Yes.
Yeah, 2007. Yes. I got done in law school 2004.
Correct.
And worked at a small law firm. I moved back in with my parents. And
I know that's right.
Yeah. That's right. You know that. Yeah. Hey, Mama, I'm coming back. Yeah. Like coming back home. That's right.
Correct.
Yeah. So I worked at a small law firm over in Clayton County. And it's funny. I say, God is good. So I just got married in 2007 to my lovely bride.
I know that's
right. And I went to my boss at the time and spoke, and we had some business talks. And I came home one day and I told my wife, I said, hey, I want to start my own law firm. And she was like, what? Yeah, we got student loans. We living with your parents in a sense. Yeah, we got bills. How you just gonna leave your job and we're gonna start with nothing? And I said, we walk by faith, not by sight. And she was like, I know we just got married. We young. I was like, it's going to be a struggle. But I was like, hey, if you give me your blessing, we're going to do it. She said, hey, I'm in it. I married you. She gave me her blessing. And I went to my boss the next day and gave him my resignation letter and said, hey, I'm going to start my own law firm. And the killer, he was a nice guy. He was like, take the computer you've been working with, because he's like, I know you ain't got none. I ain't had no computer. Wow. He's like, take the computer you've been working on and take those 3 cases that you brought in, that you referred in. Those are yours. And he was a Marine, he was a dentist, and he was a lawyer, really smart guy. Wow. And he was like, I want to help you. And he was like, I wish you the best. And the first office for MABRA Law was the kitchen table at my mother's house.
Wow. Built it strictly from the ground up.
Ground up.
Of course, with some blessings from the Creator. And
absolutely.
Having a great solid foundation with your now wife, beautiful wife, and still having the backing of your parents. That's a blessing in itself. I want to touch bases on you can give me some of the pros or cons when you were doing former Georgia House of Representatives member.
That's right.
How was that process? Now, was that prior? Or in conjunction?
It was in conjunction, all of it. Yeah. So all this was sort of going down. So I just started the law firm, 2007, in debt, credit score going down because I can't pay on stuff. People will forget about that. Man. And when I ran for state rep, I was like, hey, I got a short sale. I got a foreclosure. I went through the hard times in 2007, the Great Recession, they call it.
Correct.
Yeah, it hit me too.
It hit the hell out of me.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I told people that story, but people appreciated that when I was on the campaign trail.
Correct.
It was like, he's real. He went through the struggle. He fought, he battled back. And so after the firm, we had been open a few years, and I got a phone call, and it was from a citizen in Fayette County that had known me pretty much all my life. And he said, hey, there's going to be a new open seat, state representative district. A lot of people have been talking. We would love for you to run for this open seat.
That's very strong.
I got the call once again, went to the wife. We prayed about it.
Exactly.
And, she gave me that blessing again. And we stepped out, and she was the biggest supporter and campaigned with me.
Wow.
And we won the race. It was amazing back in 2012. Yeah. Wow. Became a state representative. And all these people told me when I was sort of stepping out, oh, you don't want to run for this. You want to start on the school board, county commission, somewhere else. They was like, hey, starting on the state level, that's pretty ballsy of you. Yeah. So I was like, nah, this is the word that's been spoken over me.
Correct.
So I know what you're looking at and the data you're looking at, but I'm looking at another, story here, and I got a different word.
Correct.
So it worked out. I won and served 2 terms down at the House.
Wow, that's very strong. What could you say were some of the pros? There's pros and cons to everything.
Oh, absolutely.
What would you say that some of the pros are from doing that 2-year term, and some of the cons that still cons can be considered as wins?
Oh, yeah.
Because it gives you more tougher skin.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, one, the biggest thing is that I'm a mover and shaker, and I could get things done.
Correct.
And I was good down there. And so I used everything, being here all my life. I grew up in Fayette County. That was a strong Republican county in the state of Georgia.
Correct.
Probably top 3.
Exactly.
And so when I get down to the House, I ain't got any power. I'm a Democrat. I got a D by my name.
Correct.
And it's only a few of us. It's a lot of Republicans. Democrats
Correct.
don't pass bills. They don't get bills into law. And so I get down there and I'm like, man, I have to rethink. I was like, I got to reach across the aisle. I got to get things done. I got to, talk to people. I got to explain things. I got to hustle now here on this House floor. Wow. And that's what I'm good at doing. I went to work. And I passed a bill my first term, and people have been down there 8-10 years and they never passed a bill because the Republicans been in control. And it was like, how you doing? I was like, well, I know that Republican. I grew up. He used to block for me. Correct. I used to run touchdowns. He owed me a lot of favor. And I saved his butt in a lot of meetings. And correct. I know him. And so I started using all these contacts. Yes. And I looked over the room, and you see all these people from across the state. And you see people from North Georgia, South Georgia, Columbus, Augusta. Yeah. And you get to know these people. And I've been so locked inside of 285 because that's where I grew up, inside of 285. And Georgia is so big, and you sort of open your eyes and you said, okay, it's bigger than Metro Atlanta, even though Metro Atlanta is strong. We got to figure out how we all got to work together. And I use that to my benefit.
That's very strong. That's very strong. I did some more research, and I've known you for quite some time.
That's right.
And there was an article. You were in the top 50 for super lawyers in the state of Georgia, right?
Yeah, top 100. Top 100, yeah. I'm trying to get that 50. I don't know where they got me.
I think you're already there. You're already there, dog. Come on with it.
Yeah.
But the question that I have to ask you about that in your field and career as an attorney, as a super attorney, a super lawyer, as I'm going to say, you had some pivotal cases. I know you can't speak on them in detail, but I just
we can talk in general. Yeah.
There was one. Were you co-counsel on the
NFL concussion case? Yep.
Yeah.
So in
the heart of it,
right? That's right.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
We got
in. So that was near and dear to my heart because my father had played for the Falcons and played in the NFL, and so I grew up with a lot of players that play professional football. They come over to the house. We go over their house and the kids.
Correct.
And everybody wasn't getting no big contracts like that in the 70s. I think Steve Bartkowski was making the most for the Falcons. I think his contract was about $60,000 or $70,000.
Correct.
And he was number one pick out of California.
Yep.
And so our father coming out of Howard and being a free agent, you could see where we were at on the totem pole.
Correct.
Yeah, he still had to work.
Building the foundation.
That's right. So it was a good community, and you got to meet all these different players.
Correct.
And so I grew up, became a lawyer, and this case came out like, hey, the NFL had all this information, and they knew about, the brain damage and what can happen and how it can hurt you.
Correct.
And so we wanted to make sure we took care of these players and brought those cases on. And I was able to speak with a lot of the potential clients because they were my family in a sense. They've been in my house, and I was like, hey, we're here to help you. It's going to be a group of lawyers. We're all going to fight our butts off to make sure y'all are taken care of. And my father was a client too as well. And when he passed away, I did an autopsy just so I could send some of his brain tissue up to Boston College so they can do testing on that to help future players in the NFL.
Wow. God rest his soul. That's what I wanted to focus on because I don't think people really understand the amount of brutality that's involved in football. Whether it's practice or whether you coming from the little leagues through high school, college, and if you're blessed enough to make it to the league, it's a whole different ball game.
You know it. The best, Harie. Yeah. You were real good.
Yeah, man.
Man, you was a superstar. Man. I know you might have talked about it, but Harie was nasty on that gridiron.
Yeah, man. So I snapped a couple of hams and a couple of one ACL, but it's a blessing because even for certain players that don't make it to that level, I think I can be an example and you can be an example of, there's still success and there's still cream at the top.
That's right.
To obtain.
That's right.
And long as we do it right and we continue to have a brotherhood of conversations, I don't feel like we do this enough.
That's right.
Not me and you, but brothers in general.
Yeah, brothers in general. That's right.
Yeah, for sure. But would you say that particular case kind of set the tone for Mabra Law Firm at that time? Did it give it some momentum? I'm sure you are always grinding and working on several cases, but would you say that case was kind of like the
put a little spotlight on us.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, more light was shining on us there because they even made a movie about it with Will Smith. Yeah,
correct.
So, I mean, it was a big case at the time.
Wow.
And we helped a lot of people and players, current players at the time and retired players. Everyone was sort of concerned. It was their health. Families, were concerned, so it was very important, and people pay attention to sports all the time, especially here in the South with football.
Correct.
And so it was a big deal, and that Lighting sort of was a launching pad to sort of put us on the sort of next level. We were coming along, but we had that little extra, boost. Yeah, that's man. Right. Yeah, so
ain't nothing with a turbo boost every now and then, along with some lighting. So I'm going to switch up on you. We're going to get into chop talk now.
All right, chop talk.
Yes, sir. And yes, indeed. I always like to start off with spirituality.
That's right.
Right? Because that's how we should start our day.
That's
and it's not a religion conversation. It's just spirituality. So my question for you, Ronnie, is on a day-to-day basis, what is Ronnie Mabra Jr.'s spiritual regimen on a day-to-day basis? Do you wake up, read scripture? Do you look at your journal? Do you exercise? Like, what's your day-to-day spiritual regimen? Do you read scriptures? You pray when you wake up? What does Ronnie Mabra Jr. do?
Yes, I do a lot with the family. The routine, so we definitely do a Sunday church, and we go to church on Sunday there with the family. But I try to get home in time with the boys.
Correct.
And I got an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we say our nightly prayers together. So we just don't stand up. I get down on my knees, and I'm getting older in age, but I'm still looking good, still in decent shape. But I get down on my knees, and I pray with my sons, my 8-year-old and 3-year-old. And we'll have a brief conversation.
I know that's right.
And we do that together. We bond. And I try to do that with them every night. If for some reason I'm a little late, my wife will do it. But I try to get there and make sure that we pray every night together and that they have good dreams, because dreaming when you go to rest, you sort of play things out in your mind and that sort of is acted out in the real world. So I was always taught, hey, if you dream about, making an A on that test or making that big play, you're going to actually do it in real life because you're training your mind and your body while it's resting. And so I want, the Lord to be on their mind, and we have that man-to-man conversation like we're doing right now.
Definitely.
And we have it with my kids. Of course, it's on a kid, level where they can understand.
Definitely.
But it's something where we talk, and then in the morning, I handle the breakfast, and we have our conversation. And what we do in the morning, we always bless our food. When I serve up breakfast, and I make some mean pancakes.
I was about to say Chef Ronnie.
Oh, man. Yeah, pancakes, I'm from the South. I give bacon in my household.
I feel you.
I know some people don't like pork, but I'm trying to get better, but I don't give them no turkey bacon. I give them real bacon, and my kids love it, too.
I understand.
So, but I say, hey, before we eat, touch the food, we give thanks. Yeah. And we put our hands together, and we bless the food together. And
Definitely.
So that's and we do that every day.
Man, that's a blessing. My next question for you.
Yeah.
What do you feel the importance is for not only you? I'm focusing on you, but it's also can trickle down to, your wife and your kids as well. What do you feel the importance of maintaining a spiritual relationship with God? What do you feel the importance is? Not just the consistency of what you just said, which is a blessing in itself, but what do you feel the importance is to maintain a spiritual relationship with God?
That's number one. That's first and foremost.
Correct. Divine order.
That's right. Yeah. You gotta have things in order. And growing up, my parents and I give a lot of credit to them. They did a good job, and you learn from them. It's like I got kids now, so I want to do a good job.
Definitely.
And my mother always used to say, "Boy, you gotta have your priorities in order." Some stuff just you don't put that high. It's not that, but
Correct.
God is that high, and He's number one.
Just knowing that alone
that
is
that
the
help you
importance.
that's the starting block. That's everything.
Correct.
Yeah, that's everything right there. So having God number one and giving thanks and helping people is big, you know. So we're big on that, and you know, giving back to the community. But hey, you got to have your priorities straight.
You're right.
And so once you get God, you know, at that first spot, everything else starts falling in order there, and getting into that word. So and when we're in the Bible Belt. You know, so yeah, we're in the Bible Belt too. Correct. And I got lucky with my wife. She a New Yorker. She from New York, from Queens. Yeah.
All right, Queens.
Yeah, Queens. I saw that. What was that movie with Eddie Murphy, Coming to America, right?
Yeah.
He was an African prince looking for, you know, a princess. He's going to be king. He need a queen, right?
Correct.
When you go find a queen. I went to Queens. I was like, it worked out for Eddie
You
Murphy.
went to Queens to get to Queens.
That's right.
I know that's right. All right. Where do you feel there's room for improvement for Ronnie Mabra Jr. in regards to your walk, your relationship, your regimen, your faith, your prayer? Where's there room for improvement? Because we all can improve.
Oh, always.
Every day.
It's a walk. It's a journey. It's a path, getting better every day.
Filling in the gaps.
Yeah, that's right. And they always talk about backsliding. You know, preacher talk about backsliding. You know, y'all been backsliding, you know. And you do backslide sometimes, but you know that walk, you get back and you start walking forward.
Correct.
On that. But
backslide.
the journey, yeah.
Boy.
I need to be better in reading that word. It's right there next to my bedside. You know, you get there, you got the phones. Look, everybody be on their phone, checking Instagram, Facebook. It's real. And you about to go to bed, you looking there, and you got the Bible right there, the word, and I got this in my hand. I got
Perhaps we need to trade.
Yeah.
Trade the phone out for some scriptures.
Yeah.
And get back to a lost art form, which is writing, taking notes.
That's good.
That's what I had to do with my son, not to get off topic, but you know, he came here for the holidays and we were talking and he asked me questions about communication and how to talk with adults and things of this nature. And, you know, I said, well, let's get a journal and write things down. And so I wrote him out some scripts on how to talk to his counselor and how to talk with his head coach. And he just had so many questions. A journal solved so many of them in a short period of time. Handwriting improved immediately. Right. Now you writing, you ain't texting in Call of Duty or, you know, just sports. You know what I'm saying? Or in your iPad. So, you know, what you're saying is what we're both talking about is getting rid of this.
That's that.
For some old school knowledge and making it apply. Because there's still nothing wrong with putting notes down in your iNotes.
That's it. Still ain't nothing wrong, yeah.
Yeah, but you still got to get back to writing because writing helps you retain. Helps you remember.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, not to get off track, but you struck a nerve with that.
That's right, yeah. That writing is
We on this phone, but we got the Bible right there. We might have a journal right there. We're taking notes. You know?
That's right.
So we got to get back to that, y'all, for sure. All right, I'm going to switch.
That's good.
I'm going to switch gears on you because I know we got quite a few things to move through, but we're going to jump on relationships.
Uh-oh. We in Atlanta. We talking about relationship.
I know, right? I know.
Black men in Atlanta? Oh, no. Boy, y'all. Hey, we not recording this.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I leave it good. I'm glad my wife ain't on the internet.
I'm going to keep it contained. All right, I'm going to keep it contained and focused.
Focus. PG-13.
Yeah, it's going to all be PG-13.
Look at
for
you.
sure.
All right.
We might get close to rated R, but it's going to be a very it's going to be a professional R.
That's right. The R, that's right. The R that'll win an Oscar. Yeah,
correct.
Right. That's
damn right.
That's right.
Or a Golden Globe or something.
Golden Globe, that's right.
Family.
Yeah.
How have you been able to maintain a healthy relationship with any of your family members? It just doesn't have to be wifey because we're going to get to marriage in a second. But say any of your cousins, uncles, aunts, whoever. How have you been? Because family relationships can be tricky sometimes.
They're always tricky.
Always.
Yeah.
Whether you're the breadwinner, whether you just have success or whatever it is, how have you been able to maintain healthy family relations within your family?
Communication.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's the key. Communication. And we got the technology. We bring the phone back up. The text is good, but you need to call somebody.
You're right.
You call, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, like my aunt just called me. My birthday was the other day. Yeah, my aunt called me.
Checking on you.
Check on me. That's what they do. Call, Now they older. They ain't big in that text and stuff, but they call. And to hear someone's voice.
Man.
That
it's
means
priceless.
something.
It's priceless.
And in the day and age that we're living in, people send a lot of texts. You call someone, it's like, hey, they pick up, they got a little time. They want to talk to me.
Correct.
Say hello. It ain't got to be alone. Like, hey, what's up? I'm just checking in. Only wanted to hear your voice. You good? Hey, everything coming along? How the stuff like that. That means something.
Correct.
And you can't get that emotion like you talking your voice, the pitch, the tone, the volume.
Man.
You can't get all that from a text. You type some text, and the whole meaning be all
misconstrued.
Misconstrued. That's right.
Man,
that's right.
You hit on something that I wasn't even gonna talk about, but we, as men and women, sometimes text messages can be misconceived.
Oh, big time.
It's somebody already balling you up in their mind, and we ain't even talk.
Yeah.
You just saw a few words come across.
That's right.
And it's hard for people that don't know how to handle direct communication. It rubs people the wrong way sometimes.
That's right, sure.
And if you're going to text me and I'm going to text with you in this format, I best believe it's coming direct. Yep, there it is. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So that's a very good point in order to maintain healthy family relationships.
Right.
It's just a communication part. And it is a two-way street.
That's
just like Auntie reach out to you, you need to reach out to Auntie.
That's right.
Same thing for me. It applies.
That's right. It
so I think a lot of things, if we take money out the equation and anything else, it really boils down to the communication and it being a two-way street of great over-communication, I like to say, so people can overstand.
That's right.
Not understand, but overstand.
And if you think about also seeing someone, go see them.
You're right.
I mean, they might live out of state, like, hey, we're going to come up there and see you.
Correct.
Stop in, say hello,
Yeah.
So seeing that's one thing I got to get better at, seeing my family up in St. Louis. They call and check in. Correct. I call up there, but just to go see them, they be like, oh, we want to see you.
Yeah,
and they really, and I got to make a little time and go see them. Yeah. Go see people.
Yeah, we're going to get to that time. My goodness.
Yeah.
What is more valuable? We're going to get there, Ronnie. But I want to ask you a question. Marriage.
All right.
What do you feel is the key ingredient to a marriage having longevity?
Well, don't be in the letter. No, look at you. I told you.
Well, you poker face the hell out of me then. You like, shit. But seriously, though, because you have a successful marriage, a beautiful marriage, 2 beautiful sons. So I feel like young men and women need to hear it.
Yeah.
I've been married before, almost 15 years, so I have a perspective.
That's right.
I still feel like it's going to happen again, but I need to hear from Ronnie Mabra Jr. What is the key ingredient? It don't have to be a whole bunch of ingredients, but it is.
It's a lot. It's
a lot of ingredients.
It's a lot of ingredients. That's right. It's a lot of ingredients.
But what do you feel is the key ingredient to a marriage having longevity?
I think one, and we hear that word love thrown around in marriage, love, but it comes down to love, your actions.
Correct.
I think, and when your actions, it's so much in your actions. So you say, and people say the devil is, what do you do for someone? It's a lot of things what you do. Do you communicate?
Correct.
Do you say nice things? Do you make up the bed? Do you, help with chores? Do you, say, baby, I love you,
Correct.
Hey, baby, what do you want to do? All these different things, but your actions and, just having that relationship and keeping it fresh. Hey, you want to go to the movies? It might be twice a year, but those 2 times,
man,
go make her night, her week, her month.
Correct.
And it's huge. We don't go to movies, but when we go to movies, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just different things, but it's the actions.
Yeah.
And the action word is up there, but it's so much that it encompasses. But you just gotta just show your love to your spouse.
Correct.
And when you do that, they reciprocate, and you get that love back to you, baby. What do you need? What you want for dinner? Hey, let's go for a walk. Just doing things together and doing life together. And that's what I found out is you got to find that right person that you love being around. Now, so you're gonna get upset and things of that nature.
Of course,
so it's gonna get rocky.
Definitely.
But when you know you got the right person, you can fight through the ups and downs. And so you got to find that person when you say, hey, definitely I can be with her when it's good, but when it's bad,
correct,
can I be with this person too as well?
And it's a two-way street.
Two-way street. Yeah. That's right.
That's an excellent answer right there. And I feel like a lot of young men and women that I can truly say this, that, you know, there's a major difference between being an athlete when you're in the prime of your manhood, you know what I'm saying? Everything is super strong. But I've always said that, you know, men and women, depending on the age bracket they're at and when they've met each other,
right,
there has to be conversations that's had well before marriage. Conversations, because I know when I was a young man, I wouldn't focus on conversation.
No.
I'm just trying to get to that warm place, man.
That's right.
And be done with it. But now at 48, it's like, no helps. I got to have conversations.
That's right.
And there's probably a lot of things that I could have did differently with my previous marriage that it would still be here today. So I'm glad you shared that type of information, because if you don't really know what a person is coming from, a woman is coming from, their environment, we tend as men to make assumptions. And those assumptions can turn into frustration.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and then now, since there is not a good open line of over-communication, it's hard for it to grow and grab roots,
right,
if you don't have that over-communication. So I agree with you 100%. And transparency and
That's
honesty.
Right. Honesty.
Don't try and sell me a dream out the gate, because when the dust settle, we're going to know who Harie Robinson Jr. is, and we're going to know who such and such young lady is. So it ain't no smoke and mirrors going on. You feel me? But that was a great answer. That was a great answer. I'm gonna switch over to one more topic: social media relations.
Okay.
And this is not a topic for us, but I just want to get your opinion on observing social media. You probably don't have a lot of damn time to be on social media.
Right, yeah.
But with what I do, I can just see different patterns of men and women craving attention in regards to social media and not using the platform what it's really for. Not to say that it ain't for those things.
Right.
But I feel like certain men and women use it just for attention. What's your take on that? Do you think it's attention, or you think they're just trying to figure it out?
Nah, I think it's a little attention. It's everybody. It's entertainment, I think, in the sense.
Correct.
Yeah, it's entertainment, so you take it with a grain of salt out there.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, and that really should be how everyone takes it. And, you know, everything is sort of, is AI-driven, or we don't know if that's a real picture. It's a real person. You know, I'll talk to you in real life. You know, we're going to have a real drink. We're going to eat real. You know, I'll meet you here, and we talk about, you know, in person. Have a real, you know, that social media, and the passing the pictures, all that, and trying to be.
I'm cool on that.
I'm cool on it, too. Yeah. But I just think it's a form of entertainment.
Yeah, so and you have to take it as a grain of salt.
That's right.
As long as it doesn't affect your path, your journey, whether it be personal or business. Hey, do what you do.
That's right.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Switching over to business, okay. With MABRA Law, are you working on any new expansions, brands, or partnerships in terms of MABRA Law? Like, it doesn't have to be all law-driven. It could be new partnerships with the NFL or Georgia Tech or UGA.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, certain athletes that are now retired.
Yeah, the NIL. Everybody talking about the NIL. That's right.
I know it's got to be some brand extensions that you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Bring it to MABRA.
That's right. So we're always looking to grow and to help more people. That's why we're in the business. But
correct.
With the ties to Georgia Tech and UGA, and it's being my home state, we're always, you know, looking. Been talking with Georgia Tech about some NIL deals and, you know, possibly up at Georgia.
Okay.
But, you know, the Georgia people are giving me a hard time since I played football at Georgia Tech. They always want to bring it up and charge me more.
Really? Damn.
But I get a deal at Georgia Tech, you know.
You better believe
and
it.
then Georgia, #1, you know, so I got to pay a premium. So
that's the best of both worlds.
That's right. Best of both worlds. But,
correct.
Always looking. And the best partnership of all is the community. Going out in the community, if there's a good event, saying, hey, I want to partner with you. I want to, you know, help this cause out.
Correct.
You know, donate here, be involved here. And so it's a lot of great organizations here in Atlanta. You know, I'm a member of the 100 Black Men of Atlanta. We do a lot over on the west side of Atlanta.
Correct.
And so a lot of good brothers in the organization. And so,
Definitely.
you know, sponsoring events to, you know, help build up the fund so we can, you know, help support more students. So we're always trying to give back, but the community-based organization and events are the best. You can't beat that.
Whew. Now, for young and up-and-coming attorneys, this, you know, getting ready to take the bar, pass the bar, go work for a corporate or Fortune 500 law firm, whatever it's going to be, PI, IP, whatever it's going to be.
That's right.
Right? Once they go through that process, because you went through that process and you made a choice.
That's right.
To go out on your own, which is a blessing. Most people don't want to do it. They find comfort in knowing that that check is going to come in.
That's risky.
Super risky. Jumping off the cliff with no parachute. But the Lord has got us at all times.
That's right.
What advice or how did you go about the structuring? Are there different legalities, or is it just like with House of Fresh? We need to get our business license. We need to make sure we have all of these back-end things done. Now, with the law firm, is there a higher level up to get your law firm started? I know you said it started on the kitchen table with a computer, but at some point you got to go brick and mortar.
You got to go brick and mortar. That's right. Yeah, I mean, there's different levels to it. If you had a big law firm, I mean, everything's stable. You come in and you work. But
correct.
The common denominator amongst all categories, whether it's your own law firm or you working at a big law firm that's been established for 100 years, is the hard work. You're going to have to work hard over here at this big law firm.
Correct.
And you're going to have to work even harder when you're out on your own and it's your own. And so you want to do that when you're younger.
Correct.
It's hard to, you know, stay in the office to, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning. You got a family. You know, my wife going to be asking questions. You
correct.
Know, what you got going on. Right. So, but when you're young, you can do that. Correct. And you don't have any responsibilities besides yourself. So you want to work your butt off, you know, and make partner or whatever. And if you start out a law firm, it was just me and my wife. She knew I was grinding, you know, she helping me out.
Correct.
So we pulling late nights, you know, for several years before we even had our first child. So the hard work has to lay the foundation. You're right. That's going to be key. But yeah, you got to get your own law firm. You got to get the business license. You got to get the insurance. Same avenues.
Yeah.
Yes. Still as a small business.
Correct.
Any business, you know, starts out small and then it goes big. But still, you got to do all the same things.
Yeah. All right. This is one for you right here. Time versus money. Okay. What's more valuable? And how do you balance both?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a good one, but it's easy. I done thought about this one, ladies and gentlemen. I done thought about this one long and hard. And attorneys, we deal in time because time is money.
Correct.
But you can always get more money and make money.
Correct.
You can't get more time or make more time.
You can't.
So time is more important.
Correct.
You have to know how your day is planned out, how your future is planned out, because you don't get any extra time.
No,
you know, it's limited. Time is limited.
There's no rewind
button.
button.
That's right. That's right. So time is more important. And, you know, the time, you can get the money.
Correct.
The time, it's hard to come by. And the older you get, seems like the time goes faster. Man, I was like, what in the world?
Lord have mercy.
And when you're young, you be like, man, is this day ever going to end?
Correct.
Yeah. So
when am I gonna be able to do this and do that?
That's right.
Yeah, now it's real now. Yeah, you got bills, car notes, so you got this, that, and the other. It's just coming.
That's right.
And it don't stop.
And a good friend of mine, his father say, hey, first of the month comes awfully fast when you paying bills.
What the hell you talking about? My goodness. So with that being said, what's a good method to balance your time and money? Because you can't be in 5 places at one time.
Can't be. That's right. That's right.
Family got to have their time.
That's right. That's right.
MABRA Law got to have their time.
Gotta have it.
Ronnie got to have his time.
That's
sometime.
right. I got to be out here in these streets.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm not just.
I already know.
Like,
but what's a good way to balance it? How do you balance it?
You just got to plan it out.
Correct.
You know, and anything you do, you prepare, you plan out your day. And it's like, hey, this is the time. Saturdays for the family time. We ain't going to touch that. Monday through Thursday, I'm working to this time, and this time is going to be for MABRA Law. I'm going to be home by dinner, we're going to say our prayers. Yeah. So you got to map things out and plan it out. It can't just happen by, just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You have
willy-nilly.
to be you got to be intentional about this.
Correct.
Yeah, because time will go by and you don't know where it went, So make sure, you keep your time and plan it out because it's very important. And so that's all. It's just planning, making it a forethought like, hey, all right, this is what I'm going to do. This is how it's going to be done. And make sure you execute.
That's an excellent answer. I'm going to switch up on you.
All right.
Finance. And with finance, I want to talk about overhead expense. Yeah. Man. What are some of the methods that you use to reduce overhead? You got to reduce overhead somewhere, and there's just some things you can't live without. Staff, partners, other attorneys. It's almost like you can't have one without the other.
That's right.
So what's a method that Ronnie Mabra Jr. uses to reduce overhead?
I done gave many speeches about this topic, overhead. I always tell people that, hey, if you got a great service, a great product, it's business fundamental. You got to bring in more than you pay out. If you paying out more than you bring in, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. It'll work for a couple of months, a year. At some point, it's just not going to work and you're going to fail.
Correct.
So the big thing, so you say, I don't want to pay out more than I'm bringing in.
Correct.
Right? So that's the foundation. It's like, okay, so as long as you got that, that's start there. That's the foundation there. And then go, so, all right, what are you bringing in? And then know that's your budget, so you got to work underneath that budget.
Correct.
Now people say, well, you could go in debt, and you got to service the debt because you got to get certain things needed. But if you go under that premise that, hey, this is what we make, what I spend has to be lower, then that's going to be able to, help you with your thinking and whether you need something by always going back to that equation saying,
Correct.
Hey, this is what we're bringing in.
Correct.
And this is where we need to be. And
Correct.
so having that in mind, it always helps me in my decision making. Is it essential? Correct. If it's not essential, then we're not going to do it.
Correct.
Now, as you grow, your top line and you can bring in more money, then your budget, your overhead grows too.
Correct.
Because they work sort of hand in hand.
Definitely.
But you never want that overhead to surpass what you're bringing in, that revenue. It just doesn't work. And I tell people, long as you keep that in mind and you don't let your overhead surpass your revenue, Correct. You're going to stay in business. Because you would have never started your business unless you had something great to offer in the market, in the marketplace.
Correct.
If you sell donuts, you got a mean donut. Everybody told you got a great donut.
Correct.
That's why you say you want to open up a donut shop.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Understand.
So that's how it works. And most people, they got a great product or a great service and they know what they're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to step out. So you just got to keep that equation in mind.
Exactly. And you led me to talk about something else, and I'm sure you are very familiar with this, is a lot of businesses need to have systems in place.
Got to have the systems.
And I took this from a young man that you're going to meet later along with a couple other young men, but he spoke about this a lot, is systems. And I feel like even for me, getting to this point, me and Drum getting to this point, there's a lot of systems that we needed in place. Of course, we're going to have the QuickBooks and profit and loss statements.
Yeah, you got to
so
have
you
that.
can track that, what's coming in and what's going out. But it's still across the board, you got to have systems in place. So you can have checks and balances.
That's
so
right.
you know where it's leaking at.
That's right.
Where we can make adjustments, where we may need to spend more marketing dollars,
That's right.
where we ain't spent marketing dollars. But you can't just spend money with anybody.
Can't do it.
Which I understand now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to switch up topics on you. I got to get this in. We're going to go to some sports talk.
Uh-oh.
You mentioned it. NIL, right?
NIL.
And the transfer portal. Now, when we played ball, it was a totally different setup.
Yeah.
I've talked with Stu about this. I talked with Marlon Williams about this. Now I'm talking with Ronnie Mabra Jr.
Well, all them other people you named, they got a lot of stuff. We ain't gonna got a lot of stuff. Y'all gonna need to call me because I know how good y'all were. Correct. And this stuff wasn't legal back then.
Correct.
Them Jordans you were wearing on campus, too.
Correct.
Ron, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Them hand-to-hand shakes.
Yeah, them
hand-to-hand shakes.
Yeah, you eating that chops, everybody else eating that McDonald's. Yeah.
NIL and transfer portal. Do you feel with those two tools in place now in the NCAA, is it going to affect the chemistry and the outcome of college football? You got the NIL, right?
Yeah.
These boys can get
that's right.
1, 2, 3, 4 million in college now, right?
That's right. They're making
or
money.
If they ain't on that level, they might be getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 a month.
That's right.
Right?
They're making money.
And if they don't like what's going on, they can hit the transfer portal button and they're gone. They ain't got to wait. We used to have to wait. If we were redshirt freshmen, we would have to wait a year.
That's right.
Eligibility gone.
That's right. Ain't nobody right. That's right. It's not worth it.
Which I ain't going to complain about that, but I just want to bring it to current day. Do you feel it's going to affect both the game at the NCAA level and is it going to affect the NFL? Draft picks, my goodness. They already getting M's.
Yeah.
What they got to work for? What's your take on it, Ryan?
I don't think it's going to have as much of an effect on the NFL because everybody want to get to the NFL.
Correct.
So that's that carrot out there. Everybody want to get to the league.
Correct.
But college, it's affecting. It's the wild, wild west.
Correct.
And so the NCAA needs to come in and have some regulations on the NIL and on, the transfer portal. They need to, sort of get it regulated.
They need some
but
systems.
The players, they do need they need a lot of systems. That's right. Yeah, they need a lot of systems. So, but that way, we're getting a great product on the field. I mean, Georgia, and some of these teams, like people transfer, it helps out other teams because you're going to play. So if I know that your team historically that haven't been that good, now they're getting some 4 stars there.
Correct.
And 3 stars, they're going to be able to compete.
Correct.
So I'm going to have a better game.
Correct.
And so I like that, but I think there needs to be some type of, rules in place.
Correct.
Where it's just not wild, wild west. Everybody is a free fall. Everybody's doing what they want to do.
Correct.
And it helps the coaches out. It helps the players out. It's going to help the fans out.
Yeah.
And when we have sort of these parameters in place and everyone to know what we're getting.
And from a pro side of it, I really like to see it, even though we couldn't take advantage of it in our day of playing, because they're doing it in high school too now in certain states with the NIL deals. You can get them in high school. Georgia's one state. Georgia, Texas, I think California, a couple other states already on board. But I do like to see the progression of these young athletes that put in the work, both academically and from a strenuous workout perspective that it requires to be disciplined enough to maintain the right GPA and to be successful on the field. Because think about when we were playing. If a Sean Jones or a Marlon Williams or Ryan Stewart or CJ Williams, they jerseys in the bookstore.
That's right.
They ain't get no percentages off their sale. That's how it was back then.
That's how it was.
Now it's like, whoa, you can get all types of deals. So I like to see it for the young athletes.
And it's needed. They need to get something. It's needed. Yeah.
Because I never knew where all that money was going when Travis Best was one of the best point guards in the ACC.
Right.
Where's that chop going?
That's right.
It's going back into the system, going back somewhere.
It's going somewhere.
You feel me?
Marbury jersey, all that. Yeah.
Come on.
There's a lot of great players. That's right.
Yeah. But we ain't going to get too deep into that. I want to talk about Georgia Tech because you played ball there. You've got your degree from there. I played ball there. I got my degree from somewhere else, but I still was in that academic curriculum.
All the same people I know.
Exactly. Where do you feel from when we both played ball back in the day and where Tech is right now, where do you feel there's room for improvement at Georgia Tech? Because we know the academic curriculum is going to be there.
It's going to be there.
It ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
Where do you feel like there's room for improvement between the academic curriculum and these young athletes? Because when you look at recruiting, sometimes it's hard for Tech to get in certain high-caliber athletes because of that academic curriculum. And I ain't saying you got to switch up the academic curriculum, but where's there room for improvement, do you think?
Well, getting in those athletes. And
correct.
Hey, getting in those athletes, that's how it is. We got to get in, the premier athletes.
Yeah.
But also letting them know that we have a great foundation in place with the tutors.
Correct.
We're going to talk to the professors, make sure you're getting all the help. Some of these, hard concepts that they're teaching in class, we're going to make sure that, someone, that you can get through it. We're not just going to have you out there by yourself. You're going to have a personal tutor. It might even be a personal tutor go to class with you.
Exactly.
Every class help you with notes. They taking notes, and they tutor you after practice, and they sort of with you throughout the day.
Correct.
So it's more than one way to skin a cat. You just have to get creative and let them know that they're going to be successful on the field and in the classroom. And I think putting those procedures in place will be good. Definitely. And they had the tutors before.
Exactly.
But you need a little something more than that
exactly.
if you know that person needs
because
help.
It can be intimidating if you're coming from, certain high schools, right, in the state of Georgia or anywhere, and then you walk into a class thinking it's going to be what you used to in high school, and you walking into an auditorium.
That's right. With all these concepts thrown out, and the professor just spitting it out and leaving.
It's like a mini auditorium. We could have an orchestra in one of them classes.
That's right.
Down at the bottom. So I think it's about the intimidation factor, too, because when they do these recruiting visits, it needs to be some walkthroughs through the academic part so they can get a feel early.
That's right.
Along with what you're talking about. It might need to be private tutors and things to make sure that there's a very high graduation rate.
That's right.
For the student athlete, I ain't talking.
It was tough. Even back in my day, we had a few people that would flunk out.
Oh yeah,
definitely. A lot. Yeah, tech didn't play.
No, it's cutthroat, chop and block action.
That's right.
Either you're gonna get it up or arrivederci.
That's right. That's right.
We don't care nothing about the football play. We got to keep these rates right.
That's right. Now, Georgia is a different story. I don't know what they were doing in Georgia, but they'll let them stay up in Georgia.
You hell. You hell, man. All right. This is what I always like to do, closing remarks. What advice can you give to a man or woman that has had ups and downs in their life? The highs and the lows, but we're really focusing on the low points because at the low points in your life sometimes it can get very difficult on what the next move is going to be. How do I get out of this hole or what I'm considering to be a hole? What advice can you give to a man or woman on when they're in them low places, how to persevere, come out of the hole and stay the course, stay the journey? What advice?
That's a good one.
I know, right?
And having
been,
that's right.
Give me some advice.
Having been going through a lot of hardships and struggles, especially in starting my firm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great example.
Yeah, that perseverance, got to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Do not stop. And it gets hard. And
that's what I was about to say. Easier said than done.
It gets hard, but you just gotta, be determined. Like, hey, I'm gonna keep moving forward, and do good. I think
do good by people.
Take care. Help out if you're going through tough times. Go help someone.
Correct.
Do something.
Break up your mindset.
Ties. Do something. That is good. That puts a good aura into the atmosphere.
Correct.
And it circulates.
Correct.
Even though you might be going through something hard, go help somebody. Do something.
Correct.
And, give something away, and it's going to come back. Even when I was going through hard times, I couldn't, I was like, man, I'm hard, but I'm going to give something to church. I'm going to do something.
Correct.
Give back to the community. I was like, man, it's just, and then all of a sudden, it's just that breakthrough. It came, and you'll know when that tide is turning, you'll be like, man, I just kept moving, and now I see the light. And then the walk gets a little bit easier and easier.
Correct.
But you got to keep, persevering. You got to be determined and keep moving your feet.
And that spiritual regimen comes in very key during those low times.
That's right.
It can walk you all the way through it. But you touched on that, though, is to keep persevering. And I feel like the young men and women our age or older need to hear this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because they may not have a relative or a significant other or a wife or a husband or somebody that's checking on them like we said they need to check on us.
That's right.
So if we having conversation like this that the audience can see, My goal with Chop Talk, and I appreciate you coming on board,
Glad to be here.
Is to provide some type of reference that they can look back at, especially my children. Yeah. Your children as well.
That's right. That's right. They gonna see that.
Dad was on that Chop Talk, man. Right. They were talking about this. Yeah. I remember that.
That's right. And you know Harie, yeah. Harie on TV every night. You know him? Yeah, I know Harie, yeah.
I know. So that's what this for, is never to break our culture down, but lift them up.
That's right.
You know, and by a gentleman like yourself, sharing knowledge of your journey, I really appreciate you. But you got to let people know where to find the MABRA Law Firm, social media, website.
Yeah, just put in.
Let them know.
It's out there. It's out there. You can find us on all the social media platforms, the website, MABRALaw.com. Come see us. Check us out. Give us a call. We love to hear from people.
Correct.
I said, what kind of attorneys that don't like to talk to people? I like to talk to people. Call me and just say, is Mr. Mabra there? And I'll say yes. Someone in my office going to say yes, and I'm there, and I'll talk to you. I love talking to people.
I already know.
Yeah, I answer my own phones there. Yeah, so that's why I said yes, yeah. You talking with Mr. Mabra right now. And they like, you answer your own phone? I said yes. I set the tone here.
Correct.
There's no job too big or small for me to do, so I do it all.
That's right. Now, what law, so they know, based off of what you provided, what's your specialty in terms of, is it just PI? What do you do?
Car wrecks.
That's
it, car wrecks. So it's a lot of under the umbrella of personal injury, but we specialize in the car wrecks.
I know that's
Everybody know Atlanta traffic is horrible. Yeah. Everybody want to move here, get a house here.
Correct.
It's a great place to be. I love it. Yeah,
me too.
I love it. Yeah.
I love it too.
Yeah, but it's that traffic horrible out there.
You ain't lying, man.
But we got you. You get in the car wreck, call us. Call MABRA Law.
I know that's right. Well, Ronnie, I know we're running out of time. I know you got moves to make. But I appreciate you, my brother, coming through for Chop Talk.
Great man.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. And it's a wrap. Ronnie Mabra Jr., MABRA Law. Chop Talk with Harie. Woo.